Tonight, I want to tell you something. Your mind has been trained to misunderstand. You've been taught that letting go is the same as losing. That detachment means you stop caring. That if you loosen your grip, life will slip away from you, and you'll be left with nothing. But what if the opposite is true? What if the moment you stop clenching is the moment life finally opens its hand back to you? Stay with me, because in a few minutes you'll notice something strange. Not a big dramatic change, just a quiet shift, a softness, like a knot inside you, loosening without effort. And if you listen all the way through, you'll learn the one kind of letting go that doesn't make you empty. It makes you free. Take one slow breath in and a longer breath out. No need to force calm, just allow yourself to arrive. Because Buddhism never asks you to become cold. It asks you to become clear. Detachment isn't a wall, it's a window. It's the ability to love without chains, to want without desperation, to live without begging reality to stay the same. Most people don't realize this. They think suffering comes from what happens, but suffering usually comes from what we demand. We demand that people remain consistent. We demand that our plans work out. We demand that our feelings last. We demand that a version of life we imagined must be the version that becomes real. And every demand becomes a hidden contract, signed in the dark. Life, you owe me this. People, you must treat me that way. Time, you have to slow down. But time doesn't sign contracts. People don't either. And life rarely negotiates. So the mind tightens. It grips harder. It says, if I hold tight enough, I can control the outcome. And at first, gripping feels like power, but over time, gripping becomes exhaustion. Look closely at your own life. Where are you tired for no clear reason? Where are you thinking in circles? Where do you replay conversations? Where do you check your phone with that tiny, anxious hope, and then feel the tiny drop of disappointment? That's not just habit. That's attachment looking for certainty. And certainty is the drug the mind craves most. But here's the problem. Life is not designed to be certain. Life is designed to be alive, changing, moving, breathing. And the first Buddhist truth is not meant to depress you. It's meant to release you. There is stress. There is unsatisfactoriness. There is the subtle ache of not quite, even inside good moments, even inside success. Because the mind whispers, how do I keep this? The moment you ask, how do I keep this? You've already left the moment. You're no longer in life. You're in fear. So detachment begins with a simple seeing, not a chant, not a ritual, just honest observation. When you cling, what happens inside you? Your chest tightens. Your thoughts speed up. Your body leans forward into the future. Even if you're sitting still, your nervous system starts living in what if. What if they leave? What if I fail? What if I miss my chance? What if I'm not enough? And suddenly, the mind is no longer a companion. It becomes a hunter, searching for threats, searching for signs, searching for control. Here's a gentle question. What if you stopped hunting? What if for the next few minutes you just sat by the river and watched the water pass? Because that's what thoughts are. Water. They flow. They ripple. They change shape. But when you're attached, you don't watch the river. You jump in. You try to grab one wave and keep it, and you drown in something that was never meant to be held. Detachment is not, I don't care. Detachment is I don't cling. There's a difference. You can care deeply and still allow reality to move. You can love someone and still respect their freedom. You can pursue a goal and still release the obsession with the result. This is where most people get confused. They think the result is the reward. But in Buddhism, the reward is the relationship you have with your own mind while you walk toward the result. If your mind is violent with itself, even success feels like stress. If your mind is gentle, even uncertainty feels like space. Now, let's go deeper. Because detachment isn't a single decision. It's layers, like taking off heavy clothing you forgot you were wearing. The first layer is detaching from outcomes. Outcomes are not under your full control. You can prepare. You can practice. You can show up. But you cannot command reality. And when you demand a specific outcome, you plant anxiety into the present. You turn today into a doorway you hate because you only respect tomorrow. So practice this when you notice yourself praying to the future. Whisper, I will do my part, and I will release the rest, not as a slogan, as a nervous system instruction, because your body believes your thoughts. When you tell your body, I must get this, it becomes tense. When you tell your body, I will do my part, it becomes steady. And when you add, I release the rest, something inside you unclenches. This doesn't make you passive. It makes you precise. It makes your effort clean. without poison, without desperation. And that's the strange thing. Clean effort usually performs better than desperate effort, because desperate effort shakes. Clean effort flows. Here's a tiny twist most people don't expect. The universe doesn't respond well to begging energy, but it responds beautifully to aligned energy. Aligned energy is calm. It's focused. It's not trying to force. It's not trying to prove. It's simply moving. Like a tree growing. A tree doesn't panic about sunlight. It turns toward it. It doesn't yell at the sky. It reaches. Detachment is becoming like that tree. You still grow. You still choose. But you stop threatening yourself with disaster if things don't go your way. The second layer is detaching from the image of yourself. This is a big one, because a lot of pain is not what happened. A lot of pain is what it means about me. Someone ignores you, and the mind says, I'm not valuable. You make a mistake, and the mind says, I'm a failure. You get criticized, and the mind says, I'm not good enough. Notice what's happening. You're attaching your identity to events. You're turning moments into labels, but moments are weather. Identity is the sky. The sky doesn't become broken because a storm passes through. So, what do you detach from? You detach from the story that says, this event defines me. Instead, you return to something simpler. I am aware. I am here. I am learning. You do not need to be a perfect person. You only need to be a present person. And presence is always available. Even now, the third layer is detaching from emotional addiction. Yes, addiction. Not only to pleasure, but to familiar pain. Some people don't just cling to people and outcomes. They cling to sadness. They cling to worry. They cling to drama because it feels familiar. It makes them feel like they're doing something. If I worry, I'm protecting myself. If I replay, I'm preparing. If I stay angry, I'm staying strong. But worry rarely protects. Replaying rarely prepares. Anger rarely heals. They just keep you occupied. So here is a quiet practice. When you feel an emotion rising, don't argue with it. Don't feed it either. Just name it softly. Worry, grief, jealousy, fear, hope. Naming is powerful because naming creates space. It reminds you, this is an experience, not my identity. And when you name it, breathe out a little longer. Longer. Exhale tells your nervous system, I am safe right now. Not forever. Not in every scenario. Just now. And now is where freedom lives. The fourth layer is detaching from possession in relationships. This is where detachment becomes love, not coldness. Real love says, I want your happiness. Attachment says, I want you to stay. Real love says, I support your growth. Attachment says, don't change. Real love says, I see you. Attachment says, I need you to fill me. Many relationships suffer because people confuse need with love. Need is heavy, love is light. Need grabs the other person like a rope in a storm. Love holds a lantern and says, I'm here. So if you love someone, practice loving them without gripping them. It doesn't mean you tolerate disrespect. Detachment is not weakness. Detachment can include boundaries. Sometimes the most detached thing you can do is walk away calmly. No drama, no revenge, no need to convince anyone. Just clarity. May you be well, and I release you. That's not cold, that's clean. The fifth layer is detaching from time. This one is subtle, because a lot of suffering comes from arguing with timing. It should have happened by now. I'm behind. I'm late, they're ahead. But life is not a race with one finish line. It's a landscape. Different seasons, different paths. And comparing your season to someone else's season is like comparing winter to summer and calling winter a failure. Winter is not a failure. Winter is part of the cycle. So let the mind release the calendar shame. Let it release the timeline panic. You're not late. You're just alive. Now, at this point, your mind might say, okay, but how do I actually do this in daily life? So let's make it practical. Here's a gentle sequence you can return to any time you feel yourself clinging. First, notice the grip. What are you holding on to mentally? A person, a result, a memory, a fear. Second, feel it in the body. Where is the grip located? Chest, jaw, stomach, shoulders. Third, soften one tiny thing. Unclench the jaw slightly. Drop the shoulders 1 centimeter. Relax the tongue. Slow the breath. You're teaching the body to stop treating thoughts like emergencies. Fourth, tell the truth. Not a dramatic truth. A simple one. I don't control this fully. That sentence is not defeat. It's reality. And reality is where peace starts. Fifth, choose your part. What is one clean action you can take? One email, one apology, one honest conversation, one rest, one decision. Sixth, release the rest, not by force, by permission. Life you can move. I will move with you. And finally, return to the present. Feel the surface under you. Hear the room. Notice the air, because the present is not just a moment, it's a refuge. Now, let's go even deeper for a moment, because some attachments are spiritual traps. People attach to signs, to synchronicities, to predictions, to when the universe gives me a signal, and they stop living until the signal arrives. But the quiet truth is this: if something is aligned, you won't need to chase signs. Your life will start to feel simple. Not always easy, but simple. Your decisions will become cleaner. Your body will feel less divided. You'll stop bargaining. You'll stop performing for approval. You'll stop checking if you're allowed to be at peace, because peace is not permission-based. Peace is practice-based. And here's a beautiful paradox. When you detach properly, you actually become more magnetic. Not because you're trying to attract, but because you're no longer vibrating with need. Need repels. Clarity draws. You're no longer saying, "Please choose me." You're saying, "I choose alignment." And whatever matches alignment moves closer naturally. This is why detachment is freedom. It turns life from a battlefield into a dance. Now, I want to speak to the part of you that's afraid. Because letting go can feel like stepping into emptiness, especially if you've lived your whole life gripping. If you stop gripping, who are you? If you stop striving, what happens? If you release the person, will you disappear? So let's be honest and gentle. There may be a short period where letting go feels like grief, because you're releasing the illusion of control, and illusions can feel comforting, even when they hurt you. So yes, you might feel a hollow space, but that space is not your enemy. That space is your life returning. That space is where intuition speaks. That space is where sleep comes easier. That space is where you stop forcing yourself to be someone else. And in that space, something surprising happens. You realize you were never held up by your grip. You were held up by life itself. Breath, gravity, time, support you didn't notice, the warmth of small things, a cup of tea, a quiet room, a friend's message, the simple fact that you survived days you thought would destroy you. So you don't need to fear letting go. You need to fear living forever clenched. Because clenching is slow suffocation. Letting go is oxygen. Now let me offer you a final gentle twist before we end. Detachment is not the end of desire. It's the purification of desire. You don't stop wanting. You stop worshiping what you want. You stop making it a god. You stop sacrificing your peace to it. You can still desire love, but you don't beg for it. You can still desire success, but you don't hate yourself without it. You can still desire healing, but you don't rush the wound. And when desire becomes purified, it becomes a direction, not a prison. It becomes a compass, not a cage. So tonight, as you listen, I want you to experiment with one quiet thought, just one. Repeat it slowly in your own mind like a soft bell. What is meant for me will not require me to break myself. Again, what is meant for me will not require me to break myself. That doesn't mean you won't work. It means you won't worship struggle. It means you won't confuse pain with proof. It means you won't cling to what drains you just because you're scared of the unknown. Because the unknown is not always danger. Sometimes the unknown is the door. Now let's land this gently. If you're in bed, let your shoulders melt into the pillow. Let your eyes rest. Let your breathing become natural. And imagine just for a moment that your hands are holding something heavy, a stone. It represents the thing you've been clinging to, the relationship, the outcome, the fear, the need to be understood, the need to be chosen. Feel how heavy it is. And now, without drama, without a speech, just open your hands. Let the stone drop. You don't need to throw it. You don't need to hate it. You don't need to explain it. You simply stop carrying it. And as it falls, notice what remains. You remain. Breathing, aware, whole. Not because everything is solved, but because you're no longer arguing with reality. This is the heart of Buddhist detachment. Not withdrawal, not coldness, not running away, but trust. Trust that life unfolds with its own intelligence. Trust that what stays, stays. What leaves, leaves. And what is truly yours does not need to be chained. It returns, it aligns, it arrives in its season. So tonight, take one more breath, in and out, and let this be your closing question, an open ending you can carry into sleep. If you stopped chasing what you think you need, what quiet truth would finally have room to find you? And if you want to keep walking this path with me, there's one deeper layer we haven't touched yet. The kind of detachment that changes the way you see your entire past, not by rewriting it, but by freeing you from it. That's for the next journey. For now, rest, let go, and let life hold you for a while.